Hello lovelies, how are you? Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, my name is Hilda or Tsungie. I love making crafts, so I crochet, I knit, and I've just recently been learning macrame. So you'll be seeing a lot of macrame videos coming soon. So lately I've been pressed for time, so that is the reason why you're going to see a lot of necklaces videos, because they take the least time. Otherwise I'm going to be doing other stuff. I'm actually quite excited about this stitch. I learned this stitch, so I'm going to do a tutorial on it, and yeah, maybe we can make a cushion and other things. Okay, so let's just jump right into this video. Oh, and thank you so much, you guys. We reached 200 subscribers. Okay, so let me start with what you need for this project. Okay, so for this project you need some acrylic yarn like this. You need a 2.5 millimeter hook. You need some rope, and this is measured 53 centimeters and I burnt the ends. Some jewelry string, roughly 2 meters. Some glue, some jewelry ends. This is 8 millimeter jewelry ends, a scissors, and these are 8 millimeter beads. So that is all we need. So let's start. Okay, so to begin, you're going to take, this is 8 millimeter rope. You're going to take the rope and you're going to measure roughly 53 centimeters. Then you cut and you bend the ends. Then I forgot, you also need like thread and a needle. Okay, so let's start. I've just changed the color of the yarn so that I could use a yarn that you can actually see. Okay, so to begin, I'm going to take my yarn, then I'm going to form like a curve, then I'll put it like this so that you make the shape. Then I'm going to put my finger inside, then I'm going to grab some of that yarn and I'll put it inside the circle like this. So then I'm going to hold this part and pull this one, these two, like this, and this is simply making a slip knot. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. You adjust it to your size hook, or you take your yarn, wrap it on your finger to form an X like this, then you form two parallel lines on the other side. Then you're going to take the one in front, put your finger under it, then you're going to grab this one. So with the finger you're going to grab the second one, then you're going to pull, and that's how you form a slip knot. Then you adjust it again to the size of your hook. So now what I'm going to do, okay, now to hold my yarn, I'm going to let it hang on this finger and I hold it in place with the small finger. If this is difficult for you, you can just put your yarn in between these fingers. Okay, it comes with practice. So I'm going to take this finger and hold the part that I'm going to be crocheting. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start chaining. So to do that, I'm going to move my hook and I'm holding it like a pencil or a knife. I'm going to move it forward, go up a little bit, turn my hook to face down and move backwards, passing through that small loop that we made. So this is the first chain, right? So I'm going to repeat the movements forwards, go up a little bit, turn my hook to face down and move backwards. And as soon as I finish doing one chain, I'm going to hold that part. Right, so that's 2 chains. We need a total of 8. So 3. So I need 8. So I'm going to do the rest off camera. Okay, so I've done my 8 chains. So I've seen that if I don't want any of the yarn to stretch, I put 8. And if I want like a tighter thingy, then I put 6. Okay, so now I've done my 8 chains. The next thing that I'm going to do, so I'm going to skip the first chain, which is this one, and I'll start to work in the second one because I want to do single crochets. Okay, so I'll put it back. So I'm going to go into the second chain like that. Then I insert my hook. So now what I want to grab some yarn. So I'm going to move forward and grab some yarn, and pass with that yarn through that chain. So now I have 2 chains, right? So with these 2 chains, I'm going to grab yarn again, and I'm going to pass through those 2 chains, and that is what we call a single crochet. So I'm going to go into the next stitch, do the same thing, grab some yarn, pass it through, and now I have 2 chains, grab some yarn and pass through both chains. So that is what a single crochet. So I'm going to continue to do this till I get to the end of the stitch, of all the stitches. So let me quickly do that and I come back. Okay, so I've reached the end of my line. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start a new line. So I'm going to chain 1, just like this. So this chaining 1, that is how I turn, and I'm going to flip the thing that I'm crocheting like this. So we're starting a new line. So I'm just going to remove the the hook so that I'll show you the stitches. So I've just flipped it. So you see these V's? Those are the stitches. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going underneath those 2 loops. So let me put my hook back. So I'm going to go into the first 2. Underneath those, I'm going to grab some yarn and pass it underneath those 2. So now I have 2 loops, and I chain. I pass through the 2 loops. Then I'm going to go to the next, underneath those 2, grab some yarn, pass through underneath like that. You have 2 loops, grab some yarn and pass through both the 2 loops. So that is what I'll be doing until I get to the end. Okay, so I've reached the end. Remember, so when I finished this row, remember when you're starting a new row, you chain 1. So I'm going to continue to do this single crochets until I have, this thing is about 45 centimeters. If you want a slightly shorter necklace, you can do 40 centimeters, right? So 45 centimeters or 40. I prefer 45, so I'm going to do mine until it's 45. So let me come back with the finished thing. Okay, so I've already done my single crochets here, and this is 40. So I did 45 centimeters of single crochets. So I've used a slightly thicker yarn. That is the only black I had. But if I had this a black of this acrylic yarn, I would have preferred that. But I only had this one, so I used it, so it will still work. So we're going to move to the next stage. Okay, so the next stage is taking the crocheted single crochets, that strip that we made, and we're going to sew it on our rope. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to take the ends, and you put your needle through, and you're going to just sew it up. Okay, so nothing fancy, it's simply joining the ends. Alright, I don't want this to take unnecessary time, so I'm simply sewing the 2 ends, nothing fancy. Right, so let me quickly do that. My thread is really long, then I come back. Okay, so you're going to sew it up until all the way to the end. Because we are using same color thread, it won't show. Okay, so I finished sewing up the 2 ends, and you can cut the excess. The reason why I started with 53 is just that it's easier to work with something big than something small. Okay, so now what we're going to do Okay, so the next stage is to take my wire. This is 2mm wire, and I'm going to put my beads on the wire. So I'm going to arrange them like this. I'm going to put this packet, then this packet, and this packet, and my wire is roughly around 2 meters. So I'm going to put all my beads on my wire, and I come back simply like this. So I'm going to put all of them. So one packet will cover like this much. So I actually have a long wire, but it's okay. So I'm going to put the second packet. So I'll put all of them and I come back. Okay, so I've put all my beads on the wire and I'm just going to leave this out. Okay, so I'm going to start to roll the beads on the crocheted thing. Okay, so to know when to start rolling, measure 17 centimeters. I'm gonna start from here. So what I'm simply going to do, I'm going to put the wire inside. Okay, so I've just put the wire inside like that. I'm going to put it inside like this. Then just pull it. Then I'm going to put it inside the necklace again one last time. Like this. It's the one that's coming out, this one. And I'm going to pull it. Okay, so this is the way I've pulled it very tightly. So now I'm going to slide my beads and I'm going to simply start roll some. Just start rolling. Release, making sure that it's really tight. So you might need to repeat to go over. If you see a part that is not tight, you go back and you tighten it. Okay, doing small parts at a time, making sure that it's tight. So it will take a while, but take your time. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the rest and I come back. And when you get to the end, you're going to roll your wire very close to your, maybe 2 times, then you can cut. Just gonna use my scissors to just fold the end in, then I'll push my beads. Okay, I'm just going to push my bead just a little to the end so that it covers that wire. Okay, you can shape it. Okay, then the next stage I'm going to burn these ends. Come back. Okay, so I've burnt my ends. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put some of that glue in there, just like that. And I'm going to put my, so for this glue it takes about 6 hours. Just fold it like this for it to be completely dry. Okay, so for the sake of this video, you need to put your jewelry strands. Mine is obviously not yet. Then you make a simple knot. Make a simple knot. Okay, I'm going to leave this one to dry, so let me show you on the other one that's already dry. Okay, so on this one that's dry, so I made a simple knot, then I also made another simple knot at the end, and you wait for your jewelry tips to what do you call it, to dry, and your necklace is done. So thank you so much for joining me. Yes, so I'm going to wait for this one to dry, then I'll tie the ends. So at this point my necklace is done. So because I remember I used the thicker yarn, my necklace is a little bit thicker than the one that the previous one, but it still looks nice. So if you, that means if you use thinner yarn, it will look thinner, and like for this it would actually be like a winter necklace thingy. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Look forward to more videos. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Okay, bye bye.